The human brain is the most complex organ in the known universe. It is the control center for everything you do, from breathing and blinking to thinking and feeling. This remarkable organ allows us to experience the world, learn new things, and form relationships. It is the seat of our consciousness, the source of our creativity, and the driver of our actions. The brain is responsible for processing information, controlling movement, and regulating bodily functions. It is a highly adaptable organ, constantly changing and rewiring itself in response to new experiences. This ability to learn and adapt is what makes us human. It allows us to solve problems, make decisions, and navigate the complexities of life. The brain is a powerful tool, capable of incredible feats of intelligence, creativity, and compassion. By understanding how it works, we can unlock its potential and live richer, more fulfilling lives. This journey inside the brain will explore its different parts, how it processes information, and tips for keeping it healthy and sharp. So, buckle up and prepare for a fascinating journey into the inner workings of your own mind. The brain is a complex organ with many different parts that work together. Each part of the brain is responsible for specific functions. The three main parts of the brain are the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. The cerebrum is the largest part of the brain and is responsible for higher-level functions like thinking, learning, and memory. It is divided into two hemispheres, the left and right, which are connected by a thick band of nerve fibers called the corpus callosum. The left hemisphere controls the right side of the body and is generally associated with language and logical thinking. The right hemisphere controls the left side of the body and is associated with creativity and spatial awareness. The cerebellum, located at the back of the brain, is responsible for coordinating movement, balance, and posture. It receives information from the sensory systems, the spinal cord, and other parts of the brain, and uses this information to fine-tune our movements, ensuring they are smooth and coordinated. The brainstem, which connects the brain to the spinal cord, is responsible for basic life functions such as breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure. It also plays a role in sleep, wakefulness, and consciousness. The brainstem acts as a relay center, transmitting information between the brain and the rest of the body. In addition to these three main parts, the brain also contains several other important structures, including the thalamus, hypothalamus, and hippocampus. These structures play important roles in sensory processing, emotional regulation, and memory formation. Understanding the different parts of the brain and their functions provides a foundation for understanding how the brain works as a whole. The brain is made up of billions of nerve cells called neurons. Neurons are the fundamental units of the nervous system, responsible for transmitting information throughout the body. They communicate with each other through specialized connections called synapses. This intricate network of neurons and synapses forms the basis of all brain activity. Neurons are specialized cells with a unique structure that allows them to transmit information over long distances. They consist of a cell body, dendrites, and an axon. The cell body contains the neuron's nucleus and other organelles. Dendrites are branched extensions of the cell body that receive signals from other neurons. The axon is a long, slender projection that transmits signals away from the cell body to other neurons, muscles, or glands. Synapses are the junctions between neurons where communication takes place. When a signal reaches the end of an axon, it triggers the release of chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters cross the synaptic gap and bind to receptors on the dendrites of the receiving neuron. This binding process can either excite or inhibit the receiving neuron, influencing its likelihood of firing. This complex interplay of electrical and chemical signals allows neurons to communicate with each other, forming intricate circuits and networks that underlie all of the brain's functions. The strength and efficiency of these connections can change over time, a process known as synaptic plasticity, which is the basis of learning and memory. Our brains are constantly bombarded with information from the outside world. Our senses, sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell, provide a constant stream of data that our brains must process and interpret. This process of sensory perception allows us to experience the world around us and make sense of our surroundings. The process of perception begins with specialized sensory receptors that detect specific types of stimuli. For example, photoreceptor cells in the eyes detect light, while hair cells in the inner ear detect sound vibrations. These receptors convert the physical energy of the stimulus into electrical signals that are transmitted to the brain via sensory nerves. These signals travel to specific areas of the brain dedicated to processing information from each sense. For example, visual information is processed in the occipital lobe at the back of the brain, while auditory information is processed in the temporal lobes on the sides of the brain. In these sensory processing areas, the brain analyzes the incoming signals, extracting information about the intensity, duration, and location of the stimulus. But perception is not simply a passive process of receiving and interpreting sensory information. Our brains also play an active role in shaping our perceptions, drawing on our past experiences, expectations, and attentional focus. This interplay of bottom-up sensory input and top-down mental processes creates our unique subjective experience of the world.